Welcome to the Living Artist Podcast. I'm your host, Preston M. Smith. Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Living Artist Podcast. I'm Preston M. Smith, at PMS Artwork everywhere on internet land and socials. I want to thank you for landing on this podcast. Whether you're a professional artist, just getting started in the art world, a collector of art, or just consider yourself a creative person, this podcast has something for you. I like to think of it as a fun way to rant and talk to other creative people about living the life of an artist, surviving and getting ahead in the art world, and enjoying your life. But most importantly, not waiting until you're dead to make it happen. All right, let's get started.
This episode is brought to you by Heyday. Feeling stressed? Take a moment for yourself with Heyday. Stroll through rows of golden wheat, tend to cute barnyard animals, and discover the joys of a digital farm retreat. You don't have to hop in a car or catch a plane. Escape to the farm at the tap of a finger. With Heyday, you're not just tending to a farm, you're tending to yourself. Heyday. Search Heyday, that's Hay space DAY, in your favorite app store. Heyday is a free-to-play mobile game and offers optional in-app purchases and random rewards.
Hilton brings you new ways to stay, with experiences that let you capture the glory days. Introducing the Graduate Hotels. Each inspired by local college towns, these stays are always original and never boring. Get in touch with traditions all across the country and enjoy a stay that's a class above the rest. Book at Graduate Hotels with Hilton Honors Points at Hilton.com. It's a win-win. Hilton, for the stay.
Hey everybody, keep it down. I don't want the powers that be to hear me, but I did get a sneak preview of what this episode was called, Paid to Purpose, and I think I know it. I'm gonna give my own spin on this. The other day I stubbed my toe and it hurt real bad, and I'm gonna turn that pain into purpose. I'm gonna create a series of paintings about my stubbing of my toe. A whole body of work, if you will, about this incident.
Look, Mumford, I'm not an expert on this, and I haven't heard the episode yet, but I think you're missing the point here.
Missing the point, eh? Well, just you watch, buddy.
The art world was shocked today to find that a new series by the artist known as Mumford has broken all previous Christie's auction records, going for over $1 billion. Yes, that's right. This series, known as Whoops, I Stubbed My Toe, is still breaking records around the world. This has been your Art World News Beat for May 12th, 2025.
I stand corrected? Whatever.
Welcome back to the podcast, everybody. Coming to you live from my treatment area. Yeah, I might sound a little different today, and that is because I am actually in the midst of doing some very long treatments for my condition right now. And I figured, well, I'll just do the podcast from here. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to be recording this segment on my phone while I'm doing these treatments, and it kind of ties in a little bit about what I want to talk about today, which I think is interesting. I think it's a way for anybody to find a way to level up their game or their purpose, or just add another aspect or element to what they do as artists. And sometimes it's just, a way to further add interest to your work and inspire people. There's so many ways that this can be effective. And this can be different variations of this, but we're just going to be calling this pain to purpose, because I think a lot of people that I listen to, a lot of artists that I've loved over the years, that can be actors, visual artists, it can be musicians, it can be writers, poets, whatever. It can be any type of artist, and also people that I listen to even on podcasts, people who have been impactful to me in the biohacking realm, or in the Lyme disease realm, or in personal health and wellness realm. A lot of people who are impactful have had like a transition from pain to purpose. And that means they took something that happened to them that was maybe unfortunate, or maybe, excessively brutal, like what I'm going through, not only did they turn that into a way to overcome what they're going through, but also to use that as something later on that they could help and teach other people how to overcome, or at least add to, somebody else's knowledge, or share their experience with others so they can get value from it. And that's really impactful because it's coming straight from the horse's mouth. It's coming straight from somebody who has experienced whatever it is that you're going through, or something that you are looking for a way out of, or maybe just something you're passionate about. They are expressing that from a place of wisdom and real life experience. So they've taken their pain or their painful experience and turned that into purpose. Now, this can also be joy into purpose, or it can be just a random experience into purpose. And it doesn't have to be a horrifically painful experience, although I think sometimes those are the most impactful because it's something that we all value in society, somebody who's overcome something and then has something to share with their audience or with other people who are aspiring to do the same thing. So that's what we're talking about today, is turning pain, our experience, into purpose. And that's something that I've always thought, being an artist in general is my purpose. Just like, I'm an artist. That's what I do. I inspire people. That's my purpose. And I'm sure a lot of you listening are probably saying or thinking the same thing. Well, I'm an artist. I'm sharing my experience and my work with people, trying to inspire them. That is my purpose. And that's great. And that's very valid. And I think that can be enough. But this can also take it to another level of like doubling down on your art and what your purpose is in that art, almost like either a sub-purpose or something that really elevates you to the next level of interest, not only in a collector's eye, but in the eyes of people who are looking to be inspired, or people who are really looking through a sea of artists and trying to find value in people, and they find you and like, wow, I'm really inspired by this person's story. So that's something that we can think about. Now, for me, I've had many of those in life. It can be, transitioning from, poverty as an artist to, selling work and making money and quitting your day job. That is pain to purpose. It can be, learning how to, get past some, alcohol tendencies that I had that were really holding me back in the past, or somebody who's had alcoholism and overcome that. That is a pain to purpose, or turning the darkness of trauma from childhood into light in your art and work and transmuting that. We've talked about that, negativity to creativity, or darkness into light. And then for me now, it's going through this horrible neurological late stage Lyme disease. And that's something that's been basically demolishing my life for the past 5 years straight. And that can be a very impactful pain to purpose of how you, function as an artist and get through this and use it as a working through process with your art to help you not only exercise some of these things that you're going through, but also infusing that into my artwork and having that resonate with people who are also dealing with some sort of illness or chronic illness. So that can be very impactful on many different levels. So I want you to think about something in your own life that can be similar, or some sort of pain to purpose or experience to purpose. If you don't have a lot of like extreme pain, or you haven't been through an extremely painful experience that, you can elevate or transmute into purpose. It can be experience into purpose. It can be something like maybe you're a traveler, a world traveler, and you love that. I heard of an astronaut one time who, he's one of the few people who ever went to the moon, and he became a painter. And so he would put moon dust in his art. And that was something that was like added something very unique to his work. It can be that you just have a unique perspective. Like maybe you were a lawyer before this and you just have a very unique perspective on art and making that transition into art. Maybe your art has some sort of themes in there that not a lot of other artists have that perspective. I think a lot of artists who have become impactful have overcome some sort of obstacle, whether that's like, Basquiat being, African-American artist, arguably in poverty and coming from street art, transitioning into fine art, becoming a great artist. Or, like a Frida Kahlo who had these horrible, debilitating, tragic injuries and past things that held her down, and that she infused into her art, and it made her such an impactful artist. It can be anything that you think. Maybe you have a condition that you were diagnosed with as a child and it's something you've struggled with your whole life. Maybe that can be something that you infuse into your art and that other people resonate with, like, oh, this person overcome or is working through this process. And it doesn't even have to be necessarily that it's infused into your art. It can also be used in a way that is impactful to people. Like, for example, I've thought about doing a Lyme disease documentary of like artists who've lived and had debilitating Lyme disease or another chronic illness that has held them back, that is something that has really been difficult for them to work through, but they have tried to be a working artist still, and something that could document that struggle and how these artists try to overcome their day-to-day struggles and situations. You know, I thought that could be something that would be interesting and applicable to not only people going through that, but other people, because everybody suffers on some level. I thought that could be interesting. Or you have a benefit, you know, maybe you do a show that benefits, you have ALS or you have MS, or can be any sort of ailment that a lot of people are going through now. We have a very toxic environment. A lot of people are suffering with a lot of different ailments.
What does every USAA member have in common? Family. We're one big family who supports the military community and their eligible families. And if you, your parent, or spouse served, you could join our family and save big on auto insurance. Visit USAA.com/join today to check your eligibility. Membership eligibility and product restrictions apply and are subject to change. USAA means United Services Automobile Association and its affiliates, San Antonio, Texas.
This episode is brought to you by Indeed. When your computer breaks, you don't wait for it to magically start working again. You fix the problem. So why wait to hire the people your company desperately needs? Use Indeed's sponsored jobs to hire top talent fast. And even better, you only pay for results. There's no need to wait. Speed up your hiring with a $75 sponsored job credit at Indeed.com/podcast. Terms and conditions apply.
At this point. And, you know, maybe you could do something where you create an artist group that are people who are also struggling with a similar thing. Or you have a benefit show where, you know, you get a bunch of people who are in your same group, and then you showcase your work and you sell your work, and part of those profits go to this cause or to a charity of this cause. You advertise it that way, and you get local communities and maybe some media and some news that are interested in this cause to come and promote the work and the show. So you see what I'm saying here? This is not only something that can fulfill your own need as a person who is struggling, and something that helps you to not only get this out into your work and, like I said, exercise some of these feelings and some of these struggles that you're going through, but it can also become impactful to other people who are either going through a similar struggle, or just on a human level, people relate to an artist who is overcoming struggle. So it can be just that purpose right there, that pain to purpose, or you can even take it further to impact your community and impact other people who are going through that. And, you know, maybe use your art and your life and your struggle to put a spotlight on this and, you know, draw some attention or bring more awareness to whatever it is you're going through. So I think these are all really interesting things to think about. What is your pain to purpose? What is your experience to purpose? What is an extreme passion you have, or a unique angle you have on art or on your life or a past life before you were an artist? What is that for you that is your little niche, that is something that makes you and makes your work even more impactful and infuses it with even more purpose? I think that's something that every artist should really think about, and can just make your work stronger, make it resonate more beautifully with your collector base or your audience, and also just bring some more attention and perspective into something that you might be suffering from, and other people might be suffering from, other artists might be suffering from. So let's think about that today. What can you do with that? Just ponder it next time you are in the studio. You know, what is something that is unique to you that enhances your purpose as an artist, and therefore makes you more relatable to either a certain segment of the population or to other artists, or makes your art more intriguing and impactful to somebody who's maybe wanting to collect your work and, you know, showcase it to the world in their home or in their business. So that's it for today, everybody. Hope you found this interesting. I know it's something that maybe some people think, oh, I don't have that. I don't have a pain story or pain to purpose story. But we all have an experience to purpose story. We all have a unique story in this life. There's things that we we might need to dig deep and find some of those and try to discover those. But hey, in the process, you might learn something about yourself that makes you a stronger artist anyway. So I think it's a valuable exercise. So I'm going to leave it at that. Looking forward to hearing what some of your pain to purpose or experience to purpose stories are. And yeah, just be good to yourselves, be good to everybody else out there. And we will see you next time on the next episode. Bye, everybody.
Oh, geez, am I glad that headline is over. Well, back to life. Oh, no.
Yes, indeed, ladies and gentlemen, back in the headlines again is the artist Mumford, formerly known for his Oops, I Stubbed My Toe painting. He's making news again with his new series, Oh Darn It, I Burned My Hand on the Stove. Some critics are saying it's even more impactful than Whoops, I Stubbed My Toe. Make sure to catch the artist live at the MoMA. Starting dates are June 25th, 2025. And this show will run indefinitely because it is that impactful.
This has been the Living Artist Podcast. Thank you so much for listening. I just want you to know that I appreciate you being here, and I'm grateful to be in your ears. Your art and creative life on this planet is meaningful, so thank you for sharing it with me. If you like this podcast, whatever platform you're listening to it on, please subscribe and share it with your friends. You can also leave me a positive review to show your support. This helps me to reach more people with the algorithmic magic and keep the show going strong. If you want to see more of what I do and check out the art that I create, you can visit my website at www.pmsartwork.com or follow me on social media everywhere at PMS Artwork. That's it for now. See you back here next time.